What's up, everybody? Beau-hindman back with a quick video, another video to go over a topic that is pretty near and dear to my heart as a modeler, creative person, artist, writer, and custom toy maker. It's been something that has just grown into a real obsession of mine. It's really, really fun. Pretty cheap hobby too. But this is a subject that I've been meaning to talk about for a while, and that is a backlog, or what is a backlog, or my thoughts on backlogs that people have. This might be a good video to show to someone who you know that does not understand why you have so many model kits sitting around not being built. Totally understandable. I don't understand why my wife has so much makeup, but when she does her makeup and it's like artwork, I understand. So kind of a similar deal there. But anyway, this is just kind of a quick video to go over that. I wanted to show kind of some of the differences between a collection, a backlog, a project, you know, stuff like that. But I thought it'd be good to kind of show, and excuse all the dog hair on the floor, I do have dogs, to kind of show my basic backlog right now. This is pretty much it. This one, for example, is a semi-built. I'll go over that. But pretty much all of these are projects that I have to be done. There are also some in the other room. In fact, some even on this shelf, like this little hodgepodge Gundam I've got to build and finish, or paint and finish, I should say. So this is pretty much it for me. I only have maybe 20, 30, 35 items, I guess, separate. Even the eyeball here, I've got to finish that. So these, by the way, are from IKEA. They're fantastic plastic boxes, tough plastic boxes to store projects in. You can use dry erase marker to put the latest project on there. But so this is pretty much it for me. And then on top of the shelf, I've got my finished kits and some of my finished toys. That one's still being worked on. That's an ancient kit. And then my larger stuff up here. This one I just did a review for. Et cetera, et cetera. So, and I have two other shelves, some with toys on them, and other areas that I'm displaying, not to mention on top there, and also different boxes and stuff I have filled. So these are my completed projects for the most part, and these are my to-do. And then over here on the table is some of the kits that I still want to work on, or that I'm working on currently, and I'll show you some of the different stages. A collection is not a backlog. A collection is just what it sounds like. A collection of kits, or even figures, or projects, or things that have the potential to be worked on, like a custom toy, maybe in its original form or whatever. And they're meant to be collected. People buy them, for example. People even buy these model kits without really building them. Without even really concerned about building them, more to achieve a collection of all their favorite kits that come from the series. This one is from Build Divers. This is a little symbol here. My dog's going to go ahead and drink some water right now. Why don't you go ahead and not do that right now, Roy? Thank you. But this is from Build Divers, so I know people who will just collect the actual kits. Each series comes with, I don't know, 20, 30 kits in it. I actually won the second generation, the Build Fighters second season, all the kits in that one. So I have some of them here, for example, that are just what you would call straight built. They're not painted or anything. I flattened their boxes already, and so those will be worked on. So you have a collection, which is basically something that you're going to buy, a model kit, toy, whatever. Now it might look similar to the modeler, or what is the word I'm looking for? Artist, customizers. It might look similar to their other projects, but it might just sit there and not necessarily gather dust, but be part of a collection, which is just fine. I know people who buy these because they're pretty inexpensive. This is about $18, about $20 for that one. Other basic ones are as low as $8. These can be $30, $40. But I know people who just buy them just for the sake of having the box and having the art. It's just a wonderful toy, a potential toy. But a backlog is a series of items, or a stack of items or projects or whatever, like this tank here. My first tank that I have not finished yet, but I really, really am excited to be. I absolutely love these World War II tanks. I love the thought of, I just love how they look and feel. They are pretty cramped inside, but I still love that people traveled around in them. I like the different versions. And I love the modeling, the tank modeling and military vehicle community. They're all really, really nice people, have some great tips that you can apply to Gundams. So I bought this one with the intent of building it, painting it, customizing it a bit, and putting it on the shelf, maybe playing with it a bit. If a kid comes over, you can take it down and play with it. So this is part of my backlog. These two are part of my backlog. And then you have ones like this Fumina, Super Fumina. Let me grab her real quick, which I bought from my wife. And I intend on taking her, and I want to customize her to look like the blue and white Mercy from Overwatch, from the Overwatch special event. As you can see, I've assembled it, so this is another stage of a backlog, assembled, but not finished. In fact, I don't think she has anything on her except for those really horrible eye stickers that I'd like to replace. And so she's pretty much straight built, sitting on the shelf. She looks pretty cool like that. But I have an intention of finishing her, of completing her someday. And then you have things like this, which is hodgepodge, another hodgepodge kit that I made out of, I think, 4 different kits. IBO kits, some other stuff, 2 or 3 Build Fighters kits. And I built it with the intent of building the body and getting a hodgepodge kit, but then also messing with different types of painting, dry brushing, weathering, just to kind of practice in real time, as it were. I painted it, and then I made it look like the paint was really faded, and then I made it look really beat up, and so this has been really fun to experiment on. And then once I got it done, I thought, well, that looks really cool. But because it was an experiment, I still haven't filled in the holes on the shoulders and on the arms with necessarily, I got to put a backpack on. I made this little stand real quick with some dry brushing. You just dry brush it up. I could put a little name on it. So this one is, again, shelf ready, or it looks pretty cool, but it's not what I would call a completed project. Whenever I complete a project, I date them. Please date your projects when you get them. Even if you have to do it inside the armor underneath or something, always date your stuff. Or take photos or something to signify that, because one day you will look back and be like, when did I do that? It's just a really nice thing to have. Trust me on that. So then you have kind of the step over the straight build waiting to be painted and stuff to the next stage, which is almost done. Now, most people do not, or a lot of people I should say, I know, don't let it get to this stage without completing it. They're going to fill in all the holes with stuff. They're going to put the date on it, whatever, make a stand, put it on their shelf and say done, and then move on to the next one. But if you're like me and you're a creative person, one thing that tends to happen is you're sitting there working on a project, you get an idea for another one, you open that up and maybe start building that one, and you start experimenting because you want to use the same technique from this one to that one, and you can kind of go back and forth, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that can often result in a larger backlog. Much larger than mine. I've seen people who have backlogs of 100 kits, 200 kits, 400 kits. I think I knew somebody with one. Just a wall of kits, which to me at that point, that's a collection, not a backlog, but whatever. And then you're going to find yourself with kind of disjointed projects here and there, and then a few finished ones. So of course the ideal thing, the thing you want to prefer, or that you really want to do, is take a project, get an idea, finish it, put it on the shelf, and move on to the next one. That's the way to avoid a backlog. But for those people who might not be into modeling and know you and wonder why you have so many that are unbuilt or whatever, there's getting the box. That's fun. You picking it out. There's unboxing it, taking it like this, and looking at all the parts and say, oh, cool, look at that. And you might do a video of unboxing. You might do whatever. You look at that. It's cool. That's fun. The unboxing. There's the initial build, the straight build, which is another stage of a model kit, which is just, it's not my favorite part. I enjoy customizing more than anything. And then there's the finalizing and stuff like that. You might even put a project on hold until you get a special paint. So there's different steps, or there's several steps just to even owning a model kit. I know it sounds goofy, but it's true. So that's another reason that maybe people who have a large backlog, or whatever. Of course, the other reason is some of these things go on sale and you want to grab it while it's really cheap or something, and that's always to be expected as well. But that's my tiny backlog. That's some of the reasons I have a backlog. What about you? Holler at me on Twitter in the comments section. But go work on something. Let's knock those backlogs down just a bit, if you don't mind. Have a good one. Bye-bye.